What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to Park Lane Podcast. Don't panic, normal service has resumed, and I am back in the hot seat. No more do we have to listen to Harry Scarf and his banter. So anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Wynnie. Wynnie, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I like how you say always. I've been a bit hit and miss recently, but yeah, no, I'm all good, mate. You think with the season ending, the pods would dry up, but because we are Tottenham Hotspur, there is always something to talk about. So looking forward to just chatting shit, mate.
Exactly, mate. That's it. You know, when some people sleep, we keep going. Those of you listening to any podcasts and like to keep up with the episode numbers, this is episode 41. I always forget every week. So welcome to you guys. I really appreciate everyone that listens on any podcast platform as well, because we try and grow that organically and it's going really well. And for those of you that are live on YouTube or even watching us in the future, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. We did just finish our competition to win a new Spurs shirt, so congratulations to the winner of that. We will try and run a new competition soon. Just need to save up a bit more money so that we can actually do it again. And for the first time ever on the show, we're joined by Alan. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me. I've been asked a couple of times to come on, and I had arranged and it's got put back. But yeah, good to be here. And as always, let's talk Spurs and all the merry-go-round that is Spurs' so-called signings. So yeah, let's get to it.
Mate, it's excellent to have you on. And he has been allowed back, but not allowed back in the hot seat. Harry Scarf, how you doing, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. It's great to be back.
Good to have you, mate. Did you enjoy your barbecue?
Yes, I did, thank you. Yes, it was very, very nice, but it's good to be here.
Excellent. I want to shout out to some people in the comments real quickly. So Johnny's joined us. So says, hello, Luke and Co. Aside from you being Spurs fans, you guys are great. And then Hurricane number 10 has got a bit triggered by our thumbnail. So we will talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So today's show is really all going to be about transfers. We're going to talk about, players that have signed for us because it has happened, and players that may be signing with us. We may also touch on, who you want to sign for Spurs and realistic targets. So let's start with the deal that has gone ahead. And Alan, I'll come to you first. Dejan Kulusveski has signed officially for Spurs. A lot of people are triggered by this as well. There's a lot of triggering going on at the moment. Daniel Levy saved himself €5 million, but people weren't happy about that. What do you think?
Well, it's always in Daniel Levy's DNA to save money where he can. I mean, if he could get away with throwing change at a player for them to play for Spurs, he would literally do that. It's what he's known for. I think the Kulusveski signing, like getting him on a permanent, it's a no-brainer. It's a good bit of business. People will say, but he was awful last season. But let's be honest, majority of that squad were awful last season because of what they had to endure from, for me, side note, Conte restricted them, too defensive, and basically I think he nullified a lot of what Kulusevski and Son could do. With Postecoglou, in the way he likes to play high pressing attacking football, I think he's going to shine. I think he's going to go back to when we first came into the Premier League, breath of fresh air. And for me, it was an absolute no-brainer. People criticise him, say he always cuts in. I've seen him go on the outside and beat a player and put a ball in. So I think he's got both to his game. He's deceptively quick and strong and can turn quite quickly. So he can cause defences problems. And also you've seen in the later games in this season, he can tuck inside and cause problems like quick passing and changing passing as well. So he's got a lot to his game. And with a manager like Postecoglou coming in, trying to play the right way, attacking football, I think you'll see him go up levels this season. And for the price that you could get him, I don't think there was another person you could get with that price at his quality other than Kulusevski. You'd have to overpay 50, 60 million plus to get somebody of his quality in. So for me, the right deal, good bit of business. And hopefully this season, I'm proven right that he will go back to being the Kulusevski when he first come in, and we've got a serious player on our hands.
Yeah, do you know what, Alan? I think you've pretty much hit that completely spot on. I think Kulusevski is young, he's talented, he is deceptively quick and strong. He can go on the inside. Of course, he likes to cut in on his left foot and try and either put a cross in or whip it in the far corner. But as you say, I think he was stifled under Antonio Conte in the latter part of Conte's reign, and I think that under Ange, there could be various options for him. Seen some people debating whether he could play in an 8, and the thing is with him, due to his age as well, is that, he has the ability to be able to transform as a footballer as well. So I think it was, as you say, it was a no-brainer. And look, if we can save a few quid here and there, I'm really not against it. But Wynnie, what do you think about the deal?
Literally what's been touched upon, it's an absolute no-brainer, and it's an absolute bargain this day and age when you look at the transfer fees, how much Mason Mount's going to, I know he's a completely different player, but just in respect to transfer fees as they are today, what Mason Mount's going to cost, it's astronomical compared to what we've got in Kulusveski, who is, let's not say he's not exactly ready-made for the Premier League yet, because he's obviously only had a few stints at it, but he's definitely capable of doing that because we've seen it. I must admit, I was one of the first to. I'd never scrutinise a player. I'm not the type of person to jump on a player's back, but I was there for his debut when he came on, and oh my God, he looked horrendous. And it's what you expect, changing leagues and stuff, and just the whole thing about a new club and you need time to bed in. I get it, but he just went on strength to strength from there, and we've got ourselves an absolute bargain for a young player who is, as we've touched upon, he's deceptively quick, etc., etc. So yeah, absolute bargain. And I did see reports that we were potentially going to pull out of the deal. Newcastle came in at one point, whether you believe that or not. But I don't think there was any doubt that he was going to end up at Tottenham, and I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, exactly. Scarfy, you got any other thoughts on that? Any kind of things that you want to pick apart, or are you happy to see him sign for Spurs?
I'm very, very happy to see him sign for Spurs. But no, I think both Alan and Willie hit the nail on the head with this. It was an absolute no-brainer. But as you know, I have definitely dished out a fair bit of anger and criticism towards both Daniel Levy and Enoch and the board recently. But that is a fantastic deal. It was a no-brainer, and to get that 5 million off that deal as well, fantastic. But people say, like you say, he had a bad season last season, but he's not the only one. Look all around him. The rest of the whole team were having just generally a terrible season, suffer from injury problems. You have 3 different managers. I don't think Conte's way of playing will help him, and hopefully Postecoglou's way of helping is the way his style of play will benefit Kulusevski. But a player of his quality and potential at such a young age, that is an absolute bargain. That 30 million euros, which I think is about 27 million. I think it's an absolute bargain. I like when he says with the amount that Mount's going for, potentially 70 million to Man United, who I definitely much rather have Kulusevski, that's for sure. So that makes it look an absolute bargain. So a great start for the transfer window, put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree. Shout out to a few people in the comments. So Spurs Plus has said Maddison is not a waste of money.
I agree.
Johnny has said, have you guys remembered your coach's name yet? And also said, like the video people, weirdly, none of the 4 people have yet liked it. So, Johnny, if you could control the people liking the video, I would be your best friend for life. So, anyway, moving on, because, I've been away for a week, but, I've been keeping a close eye on a few of these things that have been happening. And one of the ones which is kind of moving slowly, but as you would expect with Spurs, is David Raya from Brentford in goal. The one thing that we need, apart from obviously a centre-back, minimum left-footed, or 2, and an attacking midfielder potentially, is a goalkeeper, because Hugo Lloris is going, and so therefore we need to be able to replace him with a number 1. Wynnie, I'll come to you first. There's talks, again, we'll talk about prices and money and all the rest of it, but realistically, none of us know the exact figures. Rumouring around 40 million mark. Me and Harry on our WhatsApp group have been debating this, whether we think it's worth it. I think it will get done for about 30. But what do you think about him in general? Because as much as I believe he's a good goalkeeper, I'll say this, he wasn't my top priority as a goalkeeper. Yeah. I think there are other goalkeepers, but I would still be very happy after looking at a lot of his stats last season. But what do you think about David Raya?
I like him. It's refreshing to see Tottenham delve into the market of the Premier League. We don't usually, and we don't typically do that. We normally go abroad somewhere and find this potential hidden gem. And I say hidden gem, look at the keepers we found. I hadn't even heard of a couple of, the few that we've had previously that are going to be, or supposedly Lloris's predecessor. Ready-made in the Premier League, I like him from what I've seen of him anyway. I've seen conflicting reports that he's not good with his feet, but then someone a bit more reputable said he's one of the best in the Premier League with his feet. So who knows what to believe. But what I've seen, I think he's okay with his feet. Certainly better than Lloris, which isn't difficult. But yeah, so I don't really care how much it costs. It's not my money. Obviously, if we was to go silly and spend 60, 70 million, then I'd be a little bit disappointed. But again, it's not my money. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And let's be honest, we need a keeper that's going to set us up for some time, which is what we got with Lloris in the first place. So we need someone else to come in, and I'm happy with it being him.
Yeah, definitely. Alan, do you have any worries about this deal not getting done? And do you think it's a smart deal based on kind of the age of the keeper and his reputation already in the Premier League?
Yeah, so from what I got told on the stream I just did is that apparently Raya's come out and he's basically implied that Brentford are holding him there for more money kind of thing. So for me, if I'm looking at it, I think, he's basically saying he wants to come to Spurs. So that's a plus for us. Obviously, we look by what was said previously, mutual agreements have been met between us and the player. It's obviously just getting that fee right. If it comes to it and it's 40 million, I'd pay the 40 million because 40 million for a keeper these days is quite cheap. Premier League proven. His shot stopping's great. His long distributions are good. He has a slight, his short passing is a bit suspect at times. When he gets nervous, you can see it quite. One of them things I've seen in a couple of games this season where he's passing out from the back. As soon as pressure's put on him, he can get a bit worried and a bit nervous and pass can go astray. But it's one of them things that can easily be worked on. And if Postecoglou plays with a higher line, when the ball comes back to him, he should have a lot more time than normal because, let's be honest, when this come back to Lloris, we've been that defensive. Literally, you can see Lloris, his worries been amplified tenfold. So I think it's, for me, 40 million, the amount for another keeper, like Pickford will probably go from Everton, like he's been linked, they're 50 million plus. I think Raya's better than him and cheaper than him. People want a Nanana again. Raya, I think, is cheaper than him, and you could argue he's better than him as well for me. So another no-brainer deal needs to be done. If it comes to it, like I said, rather than haggle for every penny, just be like, there's a certain time where you have to go, we'll pay the price. And for me, with the position we are in with the keeper situation and defender, that's one of the areas where you might just have to go, we'll pay the fee and get it done because a keeper as cheap as him, as good as him, won't come up too often in your search for a new keeper. So, yeah, it has to be done. It has to be done soon.
Yeah, no, I do tend to agree on a lot of those points that you've said. Jason McLachlan, if that's how you say your name, has said Raya is much better value than Pickford. Look, he's always going to be better value than Pickford because Pickford's got the English tax, hasn't he? Which we all know adds about 10, 15 million easily onto your price tag. Harry, I said, 30 million. You're saying 40 million is a bargain. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I'm going to still stick by what I said. I think 40 million is an absolute bargain in 2023 for a top keeper that Alan alludes to. He's Premier League proven as well. Brentford done a fantastic job consistently as well. Obviously, like with loads of other goalkeepers, there's areas of his game that he can work on. But I believe that that right manager who's willing I think Postecoglou will be perfect for him and work with him. So for that 40 million as well, bearing in mind that the likes of the price tag that Alisson went to Liverpool, for example, that's 70, 80 million. Kepa, for example, Chelsea, Mendy, Chelsea. There's so many keepers that are going that I would say aren't near the quality of Raya and haven't worked out for a bigger price. So 40 million, for me, you just got to get it done. This is one of these situations where I don't want to say too much because, like with Kulusveski, you get that 5 million off. It's fantastic. So if we can get any money off of Raya, fantastic. But you don't want to lose the player, by messing around with it with a few million. So to get him in the door, Kulusevski, hacking his Wi-Fi, yeah. Terrible, isn't
Sorry,
it?
that's
Getting
killed me.
Raya and Kulusevski through exactly. Raya and Kulusevski through the door in the first couple of weeks of the transfer window isn't bad at all.
My only concern is Man U. Like you said, I know we like to, Daniel Levy does like to penny pinch, and it's worked on the Kulusevski deal because I don't think many people were going in for him at the same time as us. But obviously, I know there are a few teams that are looking for a goalkeeper at the moment. So this is probably one time where we need to just match, if not go, okay, we'll get as close to what they are asking for, because we do need a keeper desperately. So we will see. Hopefully, Levy does it, but who knows?
Yeah, and I don't mind negotiating in the 30s, but it's when it becomes a problem, like when we're going to put like a 20 million bid in. Well, that's not even half. But by all means, put a bid in for 35 million, 38 million, and get close to it and just see. But we shouldn't be talking 20s, I don't think.
No, it's difficult though. In the art negotiation, you never want your first offer to be accepted because you could have gone lower.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's the way I like to live, but. I do also understand, though, everyone's points and understand the pressure and the time aspect on it. Because let's be honest, as soon as Postecoglou comes through the door, like we want this squad as ready as it can be, bar one or two additions. We need a first team goalkeeper there for the first day of training. Like we don't want to have just Fraser Forster there banging about like this is how it's done, lads, type of thing. Anyway, let's move on a little bit to the headline act of today's show. I'm going to get there a little bit early today. James Maddison. Now, a lot of debate going on across the Twitter sphere about James Maddison. Like, those that know me and follow me know that I'm not a Maddison fan. I think he's a good footballer, but there are worries for me and things like that. But I kind of want to go around the houses and kind of first of all get your feedback on James Maddison. And also, if we were to get him, what is the kind of price that you would put on his head? And we'll go with you, Alan, first.
So do I like... I mean, I'm not really a Maddison fan. Like, I can admit he's got ability and he's got a good passing, but I'm not... when I watch him play, I'm just like, I don't really... It's one of them players you don't really like, but you can admit is good. It's what I think about Maddison. He's a player we need in the fact that we've not replaced Eriksen since he left. So that final ball, the amount of times we've had positions where Kane hasn't dropped deep, somebody else is in that, and you can see a player making a run and they haven't picked out the killer pass because we'd have no one else other than Kane to do it since Eriksen's left. So he's got that ability on him to be able to pick a ball and make that one pass over the top to stretch teams like going back to their own goal like we haven't had for some time. So yeah, for me, if it's going to be him, good bit of business, Premier League proven, and I think around the £50 million mark is a good price if we can get him for 50 million. They've been relegated. I don't think they're going to get anywhere near what they probably would have wanted from him previously. I think 50 million is about right. But knowing obviously the person that is Daniel Levy, will probably go with a bit of 35 million in a Mars bar and see how we go and see if we get any closer to that. But it's literally just how they do business. But yeah, Maddison, good player, good ability. For the role we need or what we plan on the Postecoglou, again, I think he'll fit right in. But if it's not him, it'll probably be a player like from the J League or from like the Pacific, because that's Postecoglou knows that area. But if you were asking me, would I take Maddison at Spurs for about 40-50 million in a heartbeat? Definitely.
Wynnie, what do you think about Maddison? Do you think he's a good player? Well, there's no denying he isn't a good player, right? I'll admit he's a good footballer. The problem that I have with him, it's a bit too much of a prima donna for my liking. What do you think on Maddison? Your honest thoughts?
I'm a huge fan, I'll be honest. I know we were linked with him. I am. We were linked with him when he came from Coventry. And I was disappointed. No, was it? No. Yeah, it was. Was it? I think it was Coventry, wasn't it?
Norwich, wasn't it?
Norwich. Oh, no, he was originally from Coventry, isn't he? When he came from Norwich, when he was leaving.
That's right. Originally,
yeah. So when he was leaving Norwich, and he was touted in the Premier League, we were one of the teams linked with him. And again, as most people would say, when coming from the leagues below, you don't really watch them, but unless they're a real standout player. So I hadn't seen too much of him, but what I did watch, and you watch clips and stuff like that, and he looked like a good player. So like we've alluded to already, he's ready-made for the position that we want and for the kind of tactics and formation that we want to play. So again, it's the price, isn't it? This is the thing that we're all concerned with. But again, like I've said, about 5 minutes ago, I don't really care what we pay because it's not my money. Rival teams can say what they want and they will have their criticisms about it. But we can pick apart every team that have overspent on a player at some point. Spurs as well, we've done it. We're definitely victims of it. But as long as it's around about the 50 million mark, I will be satisfied. But if it stretches beyond that, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But I won't really care as long as we get him in because I think he's perfect for us, to be honest.
Yeah. So here was something I wanted to discuss before I go to Harry. Was that a guy who I know quite well, Leicester City fan, tweeted a few days ago and said James Maddison has a 15% sell-on clause to Norwich. So the importance of them getting a higher fee is also important to Norwich. What he did say, though, which I don't know the technicalities on, but is there any way that Spurs, if they wanted, which we'll discuss after this, both Barnes and Maddison, if they paid a higher fee for Barnes and a much lower fee for Maddison, meaning the club would pay out less in sell-on fee percentages to Norwich. So could be quite interesting if that is the case. If that's something that Daniel Levy would think about. But Harry, talk to me about Maddison.
Yeah, Wynnie, I can agree with you. I don't know how many times we do it, but this is definitely something that I can agree with you on with Maddison. I'd have in an absolute heartbeat. You tell me Maddison 50, 60 million. I'm still convinced that's a bargain for a player who's proven. He's proven what he can do. He's the only Leicester player who's consistent this season. He offered a lot. So I think the price tag that comes with it is realistic. Get him for less, once again, fantastic. I can't quite see where some people are coming from when they wouldn't take Maddison. I think he drastically improves our team. And I think he's the player that we've been missing since Eriksen's left. But at the same time, if you turn around to me and said, would I be happy with some of these replacements like the likes of Alex Scott for Bristol? Absolutely. I'll be very, really happy with that as well. A young player, really, really exciting. And obviously will be the cheaper option for Maddison, but for the long term. But yeah, take James Maddison in a heartbeat. I'm a massive fan. He's always a pleasure to watch. And he's just one of those players who can take control of that game and just has that magic touch, if you like. See, I'd love it for Spurs. That'd be a dream come true.
Perfect. Cheers for that. And Dave has joined us. Dave, how are you doing, mate? You keeping well?
Good evening. Just thought I'd pop on, say hello. It's been a while. I had 5 minutes free, so I thought I might swing by. Drop in. How are we? Are we all good?
All good.
Yeah.
Hey, you've had an absolute trim to that barnet, and I'm loving it.
I know, mate. It's completely gone now. Hair's gone, beard's gone. What's happening then? What can I talk about for 5 minutes?
Talk about James Maddison. Do you think he's worth 50 million quid?
100%. I think Ronald McDonald improves our team, to be honest. It won't matter who we get. At the end of the day, we lacked so much creativity last season that it was evident. It was pathetic. We were pathetic. I haven't even ranted about last season yet. I'm not going to get into it now. I'm too tired. But it's coming. It's coming. Next couple of weeks, I'll jump on properly and I'll be back. But yeah, Maddison 50 million. Get Barnes in there for another 20, 70 million for the pair. Proves our team tenfold. But the main focus for Tottenham, is that attacking midfielder role. But we've got to buy some decent centre back. It's pointless. It's like building a mansion and not putting a front door on it. What's the point? Everyone come in and rob all your furniture. So the reality of it is, it doesn't matter what you build on the outside and what you build up front. If your back door ain't very good, then someone's going to kick it in and take you around the bushes, isn't they? So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, I just thought I'd drop on and say hello, boys. It's good to see you all. I will be back. Give me a week or two, and I'll see you all soon. All right. And Harry, Højbjerg's still shit.
You pick it on an individual, Dave.
Oh, it's gone.
I will still tag him in anything to do with Højbjerg.
I love how he said his piece and then went quickly before
He's gone. He doesn't want to hear my answer. I'll give you grief later.
Exactly. No, it's good to see Dave back, and
Definitely.
hopefully in the next few weeks he'll be back to normal, and we can get this show back on the road. Yeah, fair enough. Look, I do agree with everybody's points on this Maddison thing, and I don't have a vendetta against Maddison, but I just think that there are players out there that I would prefer more.
Who would you prefer?
I think Alex Scott of Bristol City. I think he's a good player. I think he's young.
I have to agree.
I think he could.
The thing is, I think we can get Maddison, and we can. I think they're only touting about 20 million for Scott, so we could get Maddison and also Scott. Really, there's nothing stopping that. I think
that'd be fantastic.
The problem is if Maddison was going to bolster our squad, I'd probably be a bit okay. Look, for me, Maddison's a necessity. We need him. He's going to come straight in and slot straight. He's going to be a starter every week.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. Look, I don't disagree. There's certain aspects of him. Like, did anyone watch England on? I'll kind of be brief on this. Did anyone watch England on?
Yeah.
I did. Friday. He was useless. He was useless for England against Malta.
Really?
Like, I thought he was really.
I don't think he put a foot wrong. I don't think he was magnificent, Luke, but I don't think he'd done anything wrong in the game. He didn't have that impact, but he's just gone for a long, hard season where he's played pretty much every minute for Leicester, and relegation will take it out of you. You ask anyone that goes down, and he's given everything for Leicester. The only player who's been consistent all season. At the end of the day, it wasn't quite enough. That seems taking it out of him.
Yeah. No. Again, I think that if he was that good of a player, there would be a lot more teams after him, and that's always, I think, a good sign in my opinion.
Well, you got Tottenham and Newcastle for a start.
That's not a very good argument.
No, but Luke, if Newcastle are after a player who've just finished in the Champions League and who have hopes of winning the league in the next 2 years, you're telling me Maddison's not a big player. He could be winning the title with Newcastle next season.
Yeah, potentially.
What more motivation do you need?
Yeah. No, fair enough. Let's move on to some outgoings. So, this week there were again rumours that Davinson Sanchez has said that, we need to look for, a new adventure and try something else. And a lot of people were thrilled with this. They were thrilled, and the booers were very happy that, we might see the back of him. I'm a bit gutted, to be quite honest, about Davinson Sanchez. I think that he came into the club with a lot of promise. I think that he never really got to show his full potential. I think it's the first season under Mauricio Pochettino. I thought he was good, but a lot has happened to him, and especially with the amount of pressure that's on him based on how he performs when he does get a chance in the Spurs shirt. I think it is right now that he does leave Spurs, but you can want to leave a football club, but if no one's going to come in and pay the money for you, then you're going to have to stick it out. But Alan, do you think selling Davinson Sanchez really does free up some more money to be able to really go and get a top quality left-footed centre back?
Not as much as we'd want, because we bought him in for 42 million. He's not going to go for anywhere near that price. But it's not just him. Obviously, we're going to talk about others, but there's a lot of players at Spurs that I would ship out, and I would take them to a new club for free. I would personally ship them myself and get them out of this club. But Sanchez being one of them, he done all right in the first season, but for me, although he had good games, I was always seeing the fact that he would lose his cool and he wouldn't be able to stay focused on the game, because he'd want to get into a wrestling match, I'm stronger than you, and try and bully players off, and he would let it detract from his game, and he would lose focus and be out of position because he's always trying to rough up somebody or get involved out wide, trying to throw him off the ball and just lose his complete and utter train of thought on the pitch. He's got ability, in regards to the fact that he can defend, and we've seen him at his best, and he does look like a good player, but he's just not at the level for Spurs. And I reckon you really could have got rid of him about a season and a half ago, where you would have probably got more money. But Spurs have this tendency to keep hold of players. They might come good, keep hold of players, and then you would be lucky to get 5 million for a player. So he's one of them players we've lost money on. We should have got rid of earlier, but if he wants to go, I would not stand in the way. I'd happily pat him on the back if he walks out. Thanks for the good job. Thanks for playing for Spurs and all that. But yeah, you're not good enough for my club. And I think Spurs start being brutal like that.
And guarantee he moves away and wins something straight away. The one player I was surprised about that with actually that we did kind of just get rid of was Van Foyth and Wynnie. I don't know, what you think of him. It's hard to watch, now he's at Villarreal. But he was one of those players that I thought definitely had a lot of potential. But when I think it was under Jose Mourinho, we just kind of decided to cut our losses and sell him. It is interesting that sometimes we do hold on to players like Davinson Sanchez and yet get rid of players like Van Foyth who looked half decent. And we don't kind of hold on to them. But we have, moving on to Alan's comment, really, we did also see recently players have their contracts cut short, with the likes of Sergio Aurier, I think it was just Sissoko as well. And there was a couple of others. Do you see that happening with the likes of Sanchez?
I can't see anything like that drastic happening, but I definitely think we'll be cutting our losses with him. Look, he says he needs a new adventure. I think he needs to just try a new sport, to be honest, because he's look. I'll always thank people for their service. Anyone that puts the Spurs shirt on, I will support them. I'll never. I've said it before. I'll never do anything drastic. I'll never get any players back, and like some of the fans do. But as we've just said, he's just not good enough for us. There was a lot of promise when he came in, and he just didn't reach the height that we thought. He's got a lot of good things going for him in terms of his athleticism. I think he's quite quick, but I just don't think he has a brain for a defender. I don't think he, positioning wise, and like we've alluded to as well, his thought is always to try and get one up on a striker, as opposed to watching whether someone's goal side of him or whether he's lost his man in the box, etc. So. I don't think we'll do anything drastic. I think we'll be lucky to get anything beyond 20 million, to be perfectly honest, which is a massive loss on what we paid. But, we make some money elsewhere nowadays. So hopefully the losses won't matter too much. But there's no coincidence that we're probably, if you look at all the rumours of who's going to be leaving Spurs this summer, it's all of our defenders and no one else. So there's no surprise at that because, we shipped 63, 62 goals, whatever it was. Not good enough. We need a complete.
Yeah, Dave blames Højbjerg, who isn't a defender, playing out of position.
Yeah, well, maybe, but we won't get onto that subject. But but yeah, there's no surprise that we want to completely overhaul our defence, and it starts with Sanchez.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we're going to do a quick round of keep or sell. I'm just going to throw some names out there and just pick people at random to
like this.
Say it.
So, I'm on a game show.
Huh?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
Yeah, you should be. There's no prizes. I'm all out of money this week. But Harry, we'll come to you. Davinson Sanchez, keep or sell?
Sell.
So Richarlison, keep or sell?
Keep.
Okay, Wynnie. Ryan Sessegnon, keep or sell?
Sell.
Oliver Skip, keep or sell?
Keep.
Okay, Alan Højbjerg, keep or sell? Oh, you're on mute.
I didn't want Harry to hear me, so.
You know what I need? Okay, and who else am I going to think of here? Okay, here's an interesting one for you again, Alan. It's not really a keep or sell, but it's a sign or not sign. Clement Longley.
Don't sign.
Don't sign. Interesting. Okay, good to hear everyone's thoughts on who it would be. So, last thing, we're just going to kind of go around the houses because it will be a short show today. The boys at the bottom of the screen have things to do, being Father's Day. So, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Whoever you may be. So, Harry, come to you. Name me one player that you want Spurs to sign in the next
James Maddison.
Do something original. Name someone that isn't James Maddison.
Okay, I will. I can actually. Alex Scott. I spent a couple of hours, let's say, researching Alex Scott the other day and kind of his career. and his pathway into football. And it's really interesting and inspirational, his journey with Bristol City and the incredible things that he's done at such a young age, and which comes with that 25 million price tag. At his age in the Championship isn't bad at all. I think it'd be worth it. I think he's a player that we'll be talking for 2 or 3 years' time that Manchester City want to sign for about 50, 60 million. So I'd go for him now. So if you said to me, we wouldn't sign Maddison, but we sign Alex Scott, 20, 25, maybe even 15 if we're lucky million, I'd be absolutely fine with that, because I think he's still a player that may not walk into our team now, but will eventually. I think will improve. We'll talk about a manager in Postecoglou who we're hoping will work with the academy, work with the younger players. So Alex Scott, that'd be perfect. Obviously, if we're talking more unrealistic, we can talk about the Laportes, but are they really going to come to Tottenham? I personally can't see it, but the most realistic one would probably be Alex Scott. But if I can say James Maddison, it'd be top of my list without question.
All right. Last quick fire question for you, Harry. Keep, loan, or sell for Jed Spence?
Bear
in mind what you said about Ange.
Yeah, because someone who was behind the signing of Jed Spence with the career he's had, and the just because of the way Conte played football with the fullbacks, I don't know why it didn't quite work out. But when watching him on loan, he hasn't really impressed me, not consistently anyway. Obviously, I'm not the manager, so I can't make this call. I'm trying my best not to dodge the question here. I think he needs more first-team football, so I'm going to go with loan. I'd love to see him go to a Championship club and gain, more experience, know-how. But if Ange thinks he's ready, then go for it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wynnie, name me a player that Spurs should sign this window.
Interestingly, I'm gonna, H did bring his name up just then and said he was unrealistic, and I don't really think he's that unrealistic in Laporte. I think we have, he's so far down the pecking order at Man City. Yeah, we have to go for it. I think he's someone he could be. Imagine, if Ange wants to play a back four, Romero and Laporte. I think that's a solid centre back partner. So yeah, I'd be for me it's Laporte, and I don't think it's as unrealistic as we probably think. We haven't been linked with him yet, but it's been it's been reported. It's very clear that he wants to leave Man City because he is so far down the pecking order. Whether he would want to look elsewhere in Europe, I don't really know. But why not stay in the Premier League, and why not come to Tottenham? So yeah, Laporte.
It's just a price tag, I think, that comes with it more than him. I think he'll want to come with Tottenham. It's whether we're going to pay that money when you've got someone like Harry Maguire, who would be, not being funny, people can laugh about it, but he's still, Man United were really, really happy with that signing. There's still a player that will come for a cheaper price.
Yeah, but how much is he going to cost? How much is Laporte going to cost? That's the question.
I can't see it being below 50 million, if I'm honest with you.
Really?
I can see it being,
surely.
Yeah,
I'd have said 25 million, but
really? I was thinking 30 max. Surely.
I was thinking between 45 and 55. I think City will value him higher than you think.
Maybe. We don't know. I know they paid a big fee for him, I'm sure.
They did, yeah. They always do.
What do you value Laporte at?
I reckon they'd want around 40 million for him. I don't think it's as high as 50. I don't think it's going to be as low as that. But that was my pick as well, Laporte. I think it's doable. And for me, because our owners are so good at doing what I'll explain why. So they've always said success, getting into Europe, success, more money, more of that to spend. So we've done it 13 out of 14 seasons. The 1 year we haven't got European football, they've come out way before and gone like that, hardly any money, sell to buy, work within our means, this, that, and the other. And I think Spurs fans have fallen for it and gone like that, well, we can't afford £50 million players, but we can. We can afford £50 million players. And I think our owners do it all the time in the way that they're like, we have to try and get by so we don't spend as much and all that. They like to make money where they can. So for me, I think Laporte's doable. I think we have to be try and act like a big club. We say we're a big club. We should go out and say, Laporte, 40 million, main man with Romero. There you go. I think we could do that with quite a few players that apparently are out of our price range. But it's whether we're like managers or they want to actually take the football part seriously. Laporte definitely for me is one of them guys where you can get him for 40 million, improve our defense massively, will calm Romero down or be the calming influence on Romero because although he's got ability and he's good at tackling, he's very rash. So I think he would be able to settle him down. Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer to go after Laporte and get him in, somebody who's Premier League proven, Great defender. For me, it should be an easy bit of business, but we know with Spurs. In regards to the Eze bit, I would like Eze over Maddison as well, but I just don't think it's really. I think they want about 65, 70 million pound for him.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit too much out of our reach, but I would take Eze over Maddison all day long if we could.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you've been spot on. Like, if you two boys, Wynnie and Alan, you both went for my pick as well. I think Laporte is definitely doable. I think that it's not the price that will be the issue. For me, it'll be the wage asking point that could be an issue. But look at the way they structure Harry Kane's wages. Yes, okay, now he's on 200 grand a week, but he's on a lot more when you look at goal bonuses, assist bonuses, and things like that. And so we could very easily structure a good deal for Laporte in terms of, clean sheet bonuses, things like that could make it a lot.
You'll have to pay him nothing. Yeah.
It's me.
But it's definitely doable. The one I don't think is doable is Tomori.
No.
I think that he's going to be way above what we would be willing to pay. I agree with you, Alan. We could afford to pay pretty much most players in reality. It's just what we'd be willing to pay. But that kind of wraps us up for today. It was a short and sweet show, but we'll be back every Sunday at 7 p.m. as we always are. But Alan, before you go, I want you to tell everyone how to find you, but also I want a prediction of where Spurs will finish next season.
An early prediction. So my last predictions for Spurs in the league have been quite poor, to be fair. So we'll see. I'm gonna say sixth, and I think it's going to take time for Postecoglou's ideas to come across, and because our squad still needs improving, I think we're going to have some good results. I think we're going to have some shocking results. I'm going to give him the season and into next season, unless he's horrendous, to obviously get his complete and utter way of playing across and get the players in he wants to. So I think as long as we improve on 8th, 6th, and I think he takes trophies seriously. So I want us, without European football, I want us to take these trophies seriously. Play a full strength team as much as you can. Don't do what we've done in previous seasons and put half squads out to be knocked out by Forest, Norwich, Southampton, and who was the other one? Middlesbrough. I don't want that type of thing. I want to go. We've got no European football. There's no reason why we should be playing and trying to win these trophies and going for them. So that's me hoping for a trophy. I don't think we'll get one, but as long as we see good attacking football, progression, and higher up the league than 8th, for me, that's a decent season. And then where people can find me, the handle is, I'm always bad at this. There we go. Time added on. Just got past the 1,000 sub part. So obviously, thank you if people are watching who are on that or who follow me on my channel or here. Thank you very much for that. You can find me there. Tomorrow, I've got a show with a big Spurs YouTuber who's coming on the channel and all that. So we'll do a 1-to-1, and then I'll open up. I'll throw the link out for people to come on and ask questions, or basically, if they disagree with our takes during the show, they can come on and say what they agree or disagree with. So big show tomorrow. And at the moment, it's talking all transfers, obviously with Spurs and any big breaking news that comes on, and doing a couple of ranking shows, which you can go back and check who we'd keep and sell, and obviously ranking Premier League teams and all that through their last season. So a lot of different shows going on. So come along, check it out. And if you obviously like it, subscribe. If not, just ignore me. It's fair enough.
Mate, I love that.
Every time I do stuff like this, and my partner, she's like, I don't care. I'm like, thanks. Right. Could ignore me.
Amazing, mate. Thanks for coming on. Wynnie, how can everyone find you?
Yeah, Wynnie1991 on Twitter, or on Park Lane Pod every Sunday at 7, as much as I can. But obviously go check Alan's channel out as well, and all of his videos. Like we say when we get guests on, we're all one big community. We all want the same thing. We all love the same thing. Yeah. So definitely anyone that comes on, check them out as well as as well as us. But check us out and then check them out as well.
Perfect. Harry, want you to tell us quickly about your trip to the Spurs Stadium that's happening soon.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, it's very, very nice. It's actually, I believe it's Friday. I've been offered by the club, and Simon contacted me around the Sensory Suite at Tottenham and learn what they're doing around autism and neurodiversity. So last week, receiving that notification today. So I'm very, very looking forward to that, and that'll be covered on Twitter. So I keep people updated. Where do I think Tottenham are finishing next season? I'm very, very trying to stay positive, and I'll back. I can't say his first name. So I'll say Postecoglou is much easier. I'll back Postecoglou. I think I'm going to make a bit of a bold prediction here. I think we're going to finish 9th but win the FA Cup. And to be honest, would I take that? Yeah, I would take that.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, I know. So I told you bold prediction, but yeah, not as bold as my one last season that we're going to finish second. Let's say that went very, very wrong. Probably this year, but we give this a go. 9th for the FA Cup. I'll definitely take that for sure. By me, you can find me there. You got my Twitter handle too. Don't forget to subscribe to Park Lane Podcast on here most Sundays, 7 p.m. I recently done that giveaway, as we know. And check out my channel as well, Scarfy's First Talk. Very, very close to 900 subs. This morning I've done a keep or sell video. I went through the whole Tottenham squad, including loans and the youth academy. How I would sell. Just say it's over half an hour long, kind of represents where we are at the moment, but hey ho. So yeah, and also go check out our channel as well. But no, thank you for having me on again.
No problem. And as Husband TV said, looks like Daniel Levy is hacking his Wi-Fi. To be honest, if Daniel Levy is hacking his Wi-Fi, it looks like that trip to White Hart Lane might get cancelled this week if they watch some of your videos, lads. So, no,
yeah,
I wish you... Oh.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks for having me on. It's, I really liked being on and all that, good takes and all that. So, yeah, if you ever need me and I can do it again, I'll be more than happy to come back on. Thanks for having me. And if people are watching, you haven't slapped a like on this stream already, why not? Slap a like, it's free. It's all good.
Love that.
Yeah, so Harry, wish you the best of luck on Friday at the stadium.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing all about that. Yeah, if you want to check me out, you can check me out at Luke_Park Lane. I'm not that bothered about my Twitter, to be honest. But more importantly, I want to thank everybody over the last kind of 28 days that's tuned into this channel, because we have seen some acceleration, which we're really, really proud of. And so, we're here every Sunday night, 7 p.m. As Alan said, I pretty much say the same thing. Like, if you want to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, get fucked, basically. But anyway.
Was that a direct quote, was it?
Yeah, direct quote. Yeah, exactly. But
okay.
anyway, yeah, thank you all very, very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. on a Sunday night. And as always, a big come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.